Hello, hello, and happy Tuesday, everybody. How we doing? Dusty, you said you're doing all right. I'm doing well. It has been a busy, busy week. Oh, man. Last week was awesome. I got to help out in the training academy, and I was able to do one of my favorite things, which is help out with the role playing of helping them learn how to be good call takers. And then, let's see, what else did we do last week? We had my friend Soul over for a bit, and then I helped her get some stuff moved over from one house to another. So that was pretty cool. And then, you think you're having tech issues on your end? Uh-oh. What's going on? What is going on, Soul? You won tickets to a concert today, Dusty? That's awesome! That's awesome! I'm gonna type this in case she's not able to hear. There we go. There we go. So, anyways, I helped Soul move some stuff over from one place to another, and then had church. I was on the worship team this week, which was amazing. Vocal Duck, how's it going? Oh, hi, Ping. Hello. I need to turn down the volume on my computer. Thank you so much for the raid. How are you, my friend? How's it going, Vocal Duck? Hope you're doing well. I don't show myself as cutting in and out. It could be a case of I get a little too far or too close to the mic, maybe? I don't know. I have yet to figure out what is causing these tech issues. Hi, Dreamer. How's it going? You're kind of tired, but better than you were an hour ago. Hey, that's all we can ask. Sometimes you gotta just take life minute by minute, hour by hour, second by second. And all anybody can ask is that you just improve day by day. Tomorrow starts some pretty rough work stuff. What kind of work stuff? Or not eat a whole box of pizza for dinner. That might do it. I don't know. Then again, the most pizza I've eaten at once is probably like 3 or 4 slices. Although I can eat an 11-inch pizza by myself. I've done it before. Oh, believe me, I could stand to lose a bit of weight too. We thought the guys were coming in to finish stuff, or to finish their end of repairing your house, but no dice. Oh no! One of the other techs is out on medical leave, so you have to take care of her work too. Oh boy. Oh boy. Is there enough people there that you can kind of split it amongst all of you? Hopefully that's the case. Because for us, there's only 2 people in my position. And so when that happens, if one of us was out, the other one would have to take over everything until the other got back. But yeah, so we're going to start off with story time with Donna. Oh, you can, but your work is pretty specialized. You can't just snag a worker from elsewhere in the department. Ah, gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah, because if you're doing specialized work and nobody, everybody's kind of trained in their specialty, that does make sense that you wouldn't be able to say, Hey, person from other side of room who's trained to do something completely different. Come on over. They're not going to know how to do it. They sort of have the plaster installed, but it could be better, and they're still using the same insulation that didn't start the mold. So they've got the plaster just to make sure that... Okay, they sort of have... Oh, that didn't stop the mold. Oh, so they're using the old insulation rather than a completely new insulation? Gotcha. It's temporary, but it'll be okay. You'd much rather we do it than someone else try and cut themselves, right? Right? Like, let's keep people doing the things that they're hired and trained to do. Because liability! Oh, it's new insulation, but it's the same type of insulation. Gotcha. Gotcha. Oh. When you splash a bit of water out. Okay, let's see. Home repairs. We're gonna add that to the list. Home repairs to go quickly. So parents' house have walls back. There we go. So we're gonna start with a story time with Donna. Because boy do I have a story to tell you guys. I call this Donna's Adventures at the Airport. So as you guys know, I recently went on vacation. And my friend dropped me off at my local airport. I go to check my bag. And it won't let me check my bag. It keeps giving me an error message, and I'm like, what the heck? So I try it again, going a little slower, just in case it's a me thing and not the computer. Same thing. Airport employee comes over, tries to do it, won't let him do it. So he takes me up to the front. Lady up front can't do it. Supervisor comes over. Oh, I see what the issue is. Her first stop abroad, because I went from one airport in the U.S. to another U.S. airport to a European airport to another European airport. Excuse me. So my first European airport, my layover was an hour and 20 minutes. Minimum for international travel at that airport is an hour 30. That was why they wouldn't let me check my bag. And they wouldn't let anybody check my bag because of those 10 minutes. So I'm FaceTiming my dad, and I'm like, okay, here's what's going on. And they're like, the only thing that we can do is get you a new flight out of the first stop that you make so that we can get you to your second leg sooner. Okay, well, how much of a layover do I have in my first destination? About an hour. Dad, is that enough time for me? Okay, yeah. He's like, yeah, that should be fine. Okay, cool, we'll take it. And so then I'm like, okay, cool, we'll do it. I get through security, I stop at my gate. And while I'm there, I'm checking my airline app. My gate that I land at my first layover and the gate I depart from to get to my second layover are 6 gates apart. I was worried I would have to take like this sky train and figure out, how to navigate all of those terminals and everything. I'm like, and to find out I'm not only in the same terminal, but I'm like basically right there. I was like, hallelujah, this is a God thing. So the rest of the trip over goes great. Heading back, I go to my initial airport. My dad walked me down to the airport shuttle, to, make sure that I got there safely. And because it was like 4:30 in the morning, I did not want to walk out to the shuttle in the dark. And so I get to the airport and I send my bag through. And it gets pulled. And about that time I realize, oh, I forgot to take my Nintendo Switch out of my duffel. So they call me over, and the airport guy goes, Francais? English? Oh, English, please. You have game system? Like a Switch? Yeah, I have a Nintendo Switch in there. Oh, I need to look it over. Okay, do whatever you need to do. So he looks it over, says everything's good, they just have to send it back through just to make sure. So they send that through, they send my duffel through, everything's great, get to my gate. I get to my first layover, and I try to scan my boarding pass, and it says seek assistance. So I try again, thinking maybe it just was having issues reading it. Seek assistance. So they take me over to the gate agent, who asks for my passport and my boarding pass. Here you go. Does this computer thing. Hey, Amethyst, how's it going? You're just in time for story time with Donna. And he looks at his computer and he says, oh, looks like you've been upgraded to premium economy. Enjoy your flight, miss. Well, thank you. And so I get into my premium economy seat, which has extra legroom, and I was so grateful for that. And so amazing flight attendants, whole thing. 7 hours later, I land in the US. I go through customs via global entry because I've got my global entry card. And essentially what that does is it tells the TSA, hey, you, are one of our trusted peoples. We don't have any issues with you when you travel, and you obey the rules and the laws, and you travel abroad a lot, so we can trust you. And you also get TSA pre-check as part of that. And so I go through that. I get through customs in like 30 seconds. They scan my face. Agent calls my name and says, you're good. So I get out to the main area of the terminal. And all I see on the board are flights out of that terminal. And it looks like I'm in the international terminal, which makes sense considering I just flew in from Europe. And so it really is rad. I love it. And I'm doing well, Ping. Hey, Sean, how you doing? So I go into the main area. I'm looking, trying to see if they have anything about where my next flight is. I go up to a worker and she says, oh, well, if it's British Airways, you're going to have to go through here. It's out of here. But it's a domestic flight. It's not an international flight. So I go up to the TSA agent and I say, I'm really not sure and convinced that I'm in the right place. I'm trying to get to, and I tell them the name of the airport. And they're like, oh, that's a domestic flight. Domestic flights don't fly out of here. This is the international terminal. Okay, so I go back out to the main part of the terminal, find a different worker who says, oh, it's an American Airlines flight. They leave out of Terminal A. Get on the SkyTrain, you're good. So I do, and I get to the Terminal A stop, and they have an airport worker there that says, if you're going to Terminal A, go down the escalator and go out of the building to the shuttle. And so I do. I follow the crowd down. I get on the shuttle. I head over to the shuttle stop for Terminal A. And I go into Terminal A. I look at the board. I confirm, yep, that is my flight. I go up to the line for TSA pre-check boarding passes. Try to scan my boarding pass. TSA pre-check only. Now, bear in mind, my boarding pass says TSA pre-check on it. So I try it again. TSA pre-check only. Airport worker comes over and I explain what's going on. He says, it sounds to me like your known traveler number must not have made it onto the barcode. And so because it's not in the barcode, therefore, it must be, they've got to go and add it. And so I go over to American customer service, explain the situation, give them my global entry card. They type a few things, give me a new boarding pass. It works. I'm through security. I get to my gate, grab a bite to eat, and chill for about an hour. About that time, I really need to go to the bathroom. And so then I book it over to the bathroom. By this point, it's like 5-10 minutes, maybe 10 minutes before my flight is supposed to board. As I'm washing my hands, I get a text that says, your flight to insert town here has been delayed until this time. Bear in mind, I only had a 36-minute layover in this town before catching a puddle hopper to where I live. So puddle hopper is just a term I use for a short flight. Like less than an hour. So I go up to the gate agent and I tell her, hey, I'm, sorry to bother you. I don't know if this is something you're able to help with or if I need to go to customer service, but I'm going to most likely miss my flight when I land. I need to get to this town. I think there's another flight out at about 10 o'clock tonight. Hey, Jim Bim, how's it going? And so then she tells me, oh yeah, no worries. They should automatically rebook you. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Thank you. I didn't know that. Thank you for informing me. I go to sit down, wait to board, and about 5 minutes later, I get a notification that says, you've been rebooked because you're going to miss your flight. Go ahead and check in. So I try to check in, and the app would not update my flight information. It still showed me as being on the flight that I was on that I was going to miss. The entire flight over, the only thing I could do in the course of 5 hours was see that they had finally updated my itinerary and then pick my seat. I could not get my boarding pass. And so I land in this town, follow the crowd to American customer service, explain to them my situation of I've been rebooked, I'm on this flight, asks to see my passport or some form of ID so that he can know I am who I say I am, and issues me a new boarding pass. And so then I get to my gate, and then about maybe half an hour, maybe an hour later, I'm on the plane. 40-ish, maybe 30 minutes later, I'm back down on the ground. And then waiting for my parents at the airport. And then we got home at like 12:30 in the morning. It was a mess. Electro, how you doing? How's it going, Amethyst? Premium economy is rad. I'm catching up on chat here. Isn't it odd how the TSA has a speedy option for money, which allows people to get through quicker? You would love to see how much they make, because that would probably explain their actions more than anything. I mean, to a certain extent, I don't think it's necessarily TSA's fault. It all boils down to when do flights land and when do they take off. Because if something, if they were taking longer getting the, if they take longer getting all of the people off the plane, if they run into a storm cell and they're delayed a little bit, if they were initially delayed getting out of their origin airport. There's all kinds of stuff that can cause a domino effect. But I do like that they have that speedier option, because especially with TSA PreCheck, the TSA PreCheck makes it where you don't have to do certain things because they already know that you're a known traveler. Like, for example, instead of doing the one where you have to stand like this and they do the whirl around thing, they just have you go through your basic average metal detector. You don't have to remove your shoes or your watch or anything like that unless they tell you to, etc., etc. And it's just a lot faster. It really was a mess, but I knew that nothing was going to be accomplished by freaking out and yelling at them, because it's not their fault. They're just going based off the information they have. And so nothing's going to be accomplished by yelling at them. Nothing's going to be accomplished by panicking. So the best thing to do is just stay calm, I'm doing well, Jim Bim. Your story is just example after example of some of the many things you despise about air travel. I can understand that, Soul. I can understand that. In my defense, well, not necessarily in my defense, but to be fair, this was the first time I've ever had that many issues on a flight. I know, right, Dreamer? Good night, right? It is. TSA PreCheck is nice. What airline did I fly for the long leg? Yes, I believe that was the 7-hour flight was British. And so I think that was what threw everybody off, was because on the top left-hand corner of my boarding pass, it said British Airways. And they didn't look at the flight number to see that it was actually an American Airlines flight. Because American Airlines and British Airlines are part of the One World Alliance. And so because of that, they can do code share flights. They're kind of part of the same group, so to speak. And so that can sometimes make things confusing. It's all good, Ping. It's all good. So yeah, that's definitely going to be, part of the... That's definitely an amazing story. It was my first time doing international flights by myself, because I used some of my parents' points to make things cheaper. So yeah. Exactly. Code share when flying to Japan, ANA and United. Exactly. They're part of the same group, so therefore, you can see. It was like on one of my tickets flying over, it said purchased as American Airlines Flight XYZ. Because I can't remember the number. And so, but it was technically a British airplane. Like a British Airlines airplane. So, code share. It worked. I got back safe. It was worth it. I actually really liked British Airways. There was actually one of the flight attendants, and this may have been because I was in premium economy. It may have been just like a personality thing, like the two of us just like became fast friends kind of a thing. But like, she kept calling me my lovely, and at one point she asked me, "Oh, how are you enjoying the flight, my lovely? Or have you gotten any sleep, or have you been watching telly?" "Oh, I've done a little bit of both," I replied. "Oh, what have you been watching?" "The live-action Lady and the Tramp movie." "They have a live-action movie? How did I not know this? I'm going to have to remember to watch that." I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's so good." And by that point, she was like rolling her cart to the main cabin and was like, off on doing her thing. And so then I just went back to my movie, but it was really nice. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed British Airways. But for me, that may have just been like that one flight attendant, and that I've never really had a flight attendant that like stops to chat with you for a minute while they're on their way to something else. But the food, you guys, the food was so good. Absolutely loved it. Exactly. And I think what it happened was we were using Mom's points, and so they were like, hey, we'll just give you a surprise upgrade. And one thing that's interesting that I found out is that at the big airports in Europe, they don't tell you what gate your flight is departing from until about 45 minutes to an hour before your flight leaves. And the reason they do that is because there's so many flights coming in and out, they don't want to cause a domino effect by assigning a flight a gate, having them be delayed, and then having to like reroute, a bunch of other planes to that gate to try and, or if there was a plane that was delayed getting out and they had already assigned that gate to a plane coming in, they didn't want them to like cross paths. And so what they would do is they would wait until they knew which gate was going to be free by the time that flight landed and assigned that gate to them. And so it makes sense when you think about it from a business perspective. From a customer perspective, especially as somebody who has never done that by myself before, I was like, wait, I've got to wait until like 45 minutes? What if I have to go all the way to another, what if I have to go to the other end of the terminal? This terminal's huge. It's the international one. But it worked. I was able to get breakfast I was able to basically get a meal at every airport. Either a meal or a snack. Because I was like, oh man, I am hungry. But yes, the food was definitely an upgrade. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. Did I know the country of Jordan has an airline? They called it Royal Jordanian when they should have gone with Air Jordan. That's cool. I thought I had heard of Royal Jordan or Royal Jordanian. But I do like the Air Jordan idea. I wonder if maybe they didn't go with that because the shoes, but there's no other airline named Air Jordan. So you would think there wouldn't necessarily, unless Michael Jordan like patented it and was like, nothing else can be called Air Jordan. You know what I mean? So you guys, I have an announcement. For the next couple of months, I would like to donate anything I make here on Twitch to my sister and brother-in-law's ministry. I would just love to be able to bless them with that. So any bits, any subs, anything like that, any money made from that is going directly to them at the end of July. I will keep track of how much is in my Twitch payouts, and I'm going to make I'll send it to my sister via PayPal. And so it would be really, really neat if by, let's see, last stream of July would be the 27th. No, 30th. Would be the 30th of July. So by July 30th, which means that by August 15th-ish, by the 12th to the 15th, that will give me June and July, both June and July's payouts. We're going to be good. Like, I will send that to them in August. It'll be a huge surprise, and I want to just bless them with that. And so I have a couple ideas for some things that we could do. Just like for every, like we could say for every 10 subs, it'll be, I'm thinking for every 10 subs, we'll do a Duolingo stream where you guys get to pick the languages. I will have no control over it. You guys get to pick. I'm not even going to say any, like no language that's on Duolingo is off limits. So every 10 subs will be a Duolingo stream. And then every... Let's go with every 5,000 bits. I will do a stream where I do Ring Fit Adventure. Because I want to try and get some exercise in. And so Ring Fit Adventure is a game for the Switch where you get exercise in, but there's a little bit of a story to it. And I have not done Ring Fit Adventure in so long that I might just like start over completely. Every 50 subs will be a karaoke stream. I'm going to write this all down so that way I remember. Every 10 subs equals Duolingo stream controlled by chat. Every 5,000 bits equals Ring Fit Adventure. Every 50 subs equals karaoke stream. There we go. So if you want to copy and paste that, there we go. And I will try and see if I can get on Canva and make something so that I can add it on here. This is very like spur of the moment, but for the next couple of months, this is how it's going to be. And I just would love to be able to bless France Music Ministry with this and just be able to make it where they're able to reach more and more people for Jesus and write music in French for them to be able to sing. And so this is just one of the ways I can think of to help accomplish that. So on that note, you guys, I do need to probably end in about an hour and a half, so by about 8:30 my time. So I'm going to go ahead and pray, and then we're going to dive into The Sims, and I have a lot of fun stuff planned for this stream. Oh my gosh, it's going to be awesome. All right, let's go ahead and pray. Any prayer requests, please feel free to drop them below in chat. And then I will pray and look up partway through the prayer to make sure that I don't miss any. So let's go ahead and close our eyes, bow our heads. Dear Lord, thank you so much for today and for who you are. Thank you for how much you love us and that you sent Jesus to die on the cross for our sins. I thank you for each and every person here, everybody who's going to be here, everybody who's already here, and those who aren't here, Lord. I ask that you just be with each and every person here in a new and mighty way. Anybody who's struggling with mental health things, please walk with them through that. Let them feel your love and your presence. Give them tools and people in their lives to overcome it. Anybody who is suffering physically, whether illness or injury, please heal them, Lord. I ask that you be with Soul, be with her car, and help the door to continue to stay closed. And if not, Lord, help the mechanic figure out how to fix it, Lord. Be with her dad and his health issues, and just be with her this weekend as she has something big going on that I'm not sure if she wants me to say on stream, but if she does, I will. That I'm going to be helping out with. So please just let that go well this weekend. And I ask that you help her to succeed in her classes that are starting in August. And I ask that you be with STL and help him with his headaches and his mental health. Rid him of all of those, Lord. Rid him of the headaches. Help the doctors find a way to get rid of those. And just help him see himself through your eyes, Lord. I pray for Phelan that you remove his headaches, and I pray for restoration with his family. And I pray for restoration between Soul and her dad too, as well. That there's better communication and there's better respect for boundaries. I ask, Lord, that you be with Lady Foes and Adifos and their unspokens. And I ask that you just be with them, help them to feel your presence and your love, Lord. Be with their garden and let everything grow well. I ask that you be with Amethyst and her mental health and her physical health. Just help her to continue to improve day by day, Lord. And I ask that you give her discernment to hear your voice above the noise. I ask that you be with DLC, that you help us to hear your voice in the direction that you want us to go. I ask that you be with Bayo and his AC, help that to be fixed. I ask that you be with Zyro and help him to just be guided and directed by you, Lord, for this new job, that wherever you want him to be, Lord, that you help him to hear you and follow your lead. I ask that you be with Mamo Paparino and her job, be with Dead Signal and his mental health and his job, be with Catherine Naomi and just help her through all of life that's gotten so busy, Lord, and help it to slow down some. Be with Dreamer and help his parents' house to be mold-free. Let the repairman come quickly and let the insulation be changed to one that will do a better